This lesson we're going to look at a factoring strategy. So again, and I always say this, but make sure you have your notes printed out ahead of time so you can, you know, that you've read the directions, because I'm just working the examples in there. Okay, but when you have to factor completely and there's no directions on there other than factor completely, you kind of need a order to go in. So the very first thing you're going to do in every single problem that says factor completely is ask yourself for a GCF. Okay, don't skip steps. Always do that. Okay, so look at number one. X squared minus 81. Do I have a GCF? No. So if I don't have a GCF, then I have two options if I have two terms, and those are difference of squares or sum and difference of cubes. Well, I can see an x squared and 81, those are squares, and I have my minus in the middle. So I just have to, it's up to you to remember how to factor the difference of two squares. What you do is split your x's, split your 81, and square root these, and then alternate your signs. Okay? Now, the reason why x minus 9 can't go again, can't factor in x plus 3x minus 3 is because I only have one x. So I'm kind of stuck there. Okay? Alright, so GCF here, what number goes into 5, 45, and 70 for sure? 5. And then they all have an x. So let's take out that first. And I'd be left with x squared minus 9x plus 70 divided by 5 is 14. Okay? How many terms are left inside that parenthesis? Okay, well that's three terms. So if you look at your notes, your options for three terms are perfect square, easy, or hard trinomial. So x squared is a perfect square, but is 14 a perfect square? No. So this is an easy trinomial since that's a plain old x squared. So our steps were circle the last sign. Alright, go ahead and break apart your x's and you say what multiplies for the end. So that's 1 and 14, 2 and 7. And it's going to, you circle a plus, add for 9. Which pair adds for 9? That's going to be 2 and 7. And then, do you remember your sign rules? If you circle a plus, they get the same sign, and they get whatever's in the middle, so both of these get negatives. And remember, if you take out a GCF, you drop it on the front. Okay, the number 3 is definitely the hardest one that we do in this section. All right, GCF, 6, 3, and 108, a 3 will come out. So if I take out a 3, I'm left with 2x squared plus 1x minus 108 divided by 3 is 36. Okay. All right. So now, three terms left on the inside. So we would say again, is this perfect? Is it easy or is it hard? All right. It's definitely not easy because of that 2 stuck in front of that x squared. But let's see. 36 is a perfect square, but is 2x squared a perfect square? No. So I'm left with this is a hard trinomial. So we would get our magic number. We'd say, all right, what's 2 times 36? 72. 72 has always got a lot of choices. Okay, 1 times 72, 2 times 36, 3 times 24, 4 times 18, 5 won't work, 6 times 12, 7 won't work, and 8 times 9. Okay, which one of these is going to subtract and get me the 1? Good. 8 and 9. So I'm going to write these as, whoops, let me switch back. 8x and 9x. Okay, now you know if you circle a minus, they get opposite. So to get a positive 1x, what are the signs? You need a positive 9 and a negative 8. And then you bring down your front one and your back one, and we're going to worry about that 3 at the end. All right, so let's group it. All right, so what can I take out of the first one? I can take out 2x squared minus 8x. I can take out a 2x, and I'd be left with x minus 4. And if I bring down that sign, I can take out a positive 9, and again, I'd be left with x minus 4. So we did it right. And the x minus 4 and 2x plus 9. And then that 3 that you took out, make sure you bring it down to your answer. That's definitely the hardest one on the page. Okay. All right, here, GCF, I can take out a 3. How many A's can I take out? 2 and 1 B. So let's divide those by that. 48 divided by 3 is 16. And there's an A squared left, no B. And 3 divided by 3 is 1. And took away the A squared and the B. How many terms are inside that parenthesis? Okay, 2. So that means it can either be squares or cubes. And what is 16? A squared tells you it is. It's just squares, and I have my minus. So I split that into 4a and 4a and 1 into 1 and 1 and alternate my signs and drop that 3a squared b. All right, next 4. Okay, so look at number 5. Do I have a GCF? Nope. 3 terms. Is it perfect, easy, or hard? Well, it's not perfect because 21 is not a perfect square. It's an easy one. We've actually worked this one in one of our previous lessons. What multiplies for 21 and subtracts for 4? Well, only options for 21 are 1 and 21 and 3 and 7. And 3 and 7 are what I'm going to use. And if I circle a minus, they get opposite. So to get a minus for 7, we'll get the minus, and 3 will get the positive. All right. On number 6, how many terms do you see? 4. It is automatically grouping. So let's work this one. Alright, so between xy minus 7x, I can take out, what can I take out? An x. I'm left with y minus 7. And I drop my plus, and 3y minus 21, I can take out a 3, and I'll be left with y minus 7. So y minus 7, x plus 3. Okay. Alright, now, number 7 is going to trick some of y'all. Alright, do I have a GCF? No. Okay, well, how many terms do I have? I have 2, so it's either squares or cubes, and I see the x to the 4th and the 16. I know it's squares, and I have my minus. So I would get x squared, and I would split the 16 into the 4 and 4 and alternate my signs. Okay, if you quit here, you miss the problem. Okay, because this one will factor again because I have at least an x squared, and it'll factor into x plus 2, x minus 2. So be careful, you split that one again, and then you can't do anything with this one. Why? Good, because of that plus. It has to be the minus in the middle for it to factor as the difference of 2 squares. And then on this one, GCF, what's the biggest number that goes in 4 and 100 is be 4. I'll be left with x squared plus 25. Don't get tempted to write x plus 5, x minus 5 from there, because remember it has to be a minus in the middle. This one has a plus, so stop here. All right, 2 more. Okay. 36x squared minus 84x plus 49. All right. Do I have a GCF? Well, this one, the numbers are kind of big, so it's kind of hard to tell immediately. But what's the only number that's going into 49 besides 49 and 1 is 7, and 7's not going into 36. So I don't have a GCF. How many terms? 3. You do not want to work this as a hard trinomial because your magic number, I have no idea what 36 times 49 is, but that's huge. What do you know just about 36 and 49? They are perfect squares. So we wrote on top and we said, all right, could you multiply the green and double it for the middle? Well, what do you get when you multiply 6x times 7? You get 42x. Can you double 42 for 84? Yep. And so you take that sign in the middle and it is 6x minus 7, and you throw the squared on there. Don't try to magic number that one. That one's huge. And then the last one, number 10, you have no GCF and you have 2 terms. All right, is it squares or is it cubes? Well, obviously those exponents tell me it is cubes. So we draw a little and a big. All right, so x cubed, the way to cube root it, break it by part, is an x, and then 27y cubed is a 3y. So we do x times x, then we do x times 3y, and then we do 3y times 3y. Remember, first one times itself, the 2 of them together, and the last one times itself. And then what word do we use for our signs? Copy. Copy the sign from the original problem, take the opposite of that. The last one's always positive. Alright, go try your homework.